Network Africa. French President Emmanuel Macron hosts European and African leaders at a migrant summit in France. A ban on plastic carrier bags comes to effect in Kenya. And Egyptian students produce diesel from used car tires. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joke Rogers. Let's begin Network Africa with stories that made headlines over the weekend.
Aggressively to protect civilians caught in the country's 4-year civil war after years of criticism for failures that led to the sacking of the mission's military chief last year. This year, the UN mission in South Sudan has rescued aid workers and UN staff during attacks, saved civilians from abduction by armed groups, and pushed past roadblocks to a massacre site. Tens of thousands have died, and 3.5 million of the country's 12 million citizens have fled their homes, creating Africa's largest refugee crisis since Rwanda's 1994 genocide. Elsewhere, the leader of Angola's main opposition party called on the country's electoral commission on Saturday to explain how it compiled provisional election results, giving the ruling MPLA party a landslide victory. Isaiah Samakuva of UNITA party has rejected the published result of Wednesday's national ballot, as he is conducting a parallel count using polling station records and computer software, which he says that didn't tally with the commission's figures. The MPLA, which emerged victorious over UNITA after 27 years of civil war in 2002, has dismissed the complaints, saying its old foe always takes issues with election results. While in Somalia, families are refusing to bury the bodies of 10 loved ones, including 3 children, until the government takes responsibility for killing them in the US-backed military raid. The 10 were shot dead when Somalia's army, supported by US troops, carried out an operation in Barire village about 50 kilometers from the capital on Friday. The US Africa Command said on Friday that US forces were involved in the Barire operation in the supporting role, and it was investigating reports of civilian casualties. It gave no immediate fresh comment on Sunday.
French President Emmanuel Macron is hosting several European and African leaders as a summit on migrants begins today. The summit holding in Paris aims to boost efforts to curb migrant flows across the Mediterranean. It involves leaders from Chad, Niger and Libya, which are considered major transit countries for migrants who risk their lives trying to reach Europe. The leaders of Germany, Italy and Spain are also attending. To ease the influx, Mr. Macron wants to see asylum requests handled in Africa. Hotspots countries, Chad, Niger and Libya, are to process those applications. Nearly 100,000 migrants have traveled from Libya to Italy this year, and the UN's International Organization for Migration says more than 2,000 have died on that route. In East Africa, the Kenyan government has banned the production and use of plastic carriers effective today. Anyone found manufacturing, selling or carrying them could face fines of up to $38,000 or prison sentences of up to 4 years. The government says the ban is meant to help protect the environment. Manufacturers of the bags have argued that the move could cost the country 80,000 jobs.
A ban on plastic carrier bags comes into force today in Kenya after a court ruled that the environmental concerns were more important than commercial interest. The government says the ban helps to protect the environment, but manufacturers of the bags argued that over 80,000 jobs could be lost. Piles of waste plastic bags are a common sight across Kenya, as in many African countries. The United Nations Environment Programme says huge amounts of polythene bags are often pulled out of livestock in Nairobi's abattoirs. Because the animals often graze on the rubbish, thereby raising fears of plastic contamination in beef.
Of late, we've noticed we are pulling more and more plastic papers out of the animals or out of the stomach of these animals. So I would say these are growing concern. It's a growing problem. This is something we didn't get like 10 years ago, but now it is almost on a daily basis.
Research in Europe shows that a paper bag must be used 3 times to compensate for the larger amount of carbon used in manufacturing and transporting it. Kenyans are estimated to use 24 million bags a month, a figure the Minister for Environment calls harmful, as the plastic bags take between 20 to 1,000 years to biodegrade.
The challenge that we have at the moment is that most of these bags are just littered, and then you find them in our water bodies. We find them littering our landscapes. They're also ingested by our livestock. The problem with this is that now we are also ingesting these microplastics, and this is a danger to our health. So this is the reason why we decided to start a phase out of banning the plastic bags, starting with the carrier polythene bags.
However, traders in the city meat market are still using the bags.
They use them to pack those, they use the polythene that I sell to pack the meat to for the customers and also to put in the fridges. So I'm feeling the effect because now I don't know what I'll be selling to them, and now that will be a loss to my business. Since I don't have anything to sell, this might also end up in laying off of some stuff, since I don't know what to...
According to the National Environmental and Management Authority, travelers coming into Kenya with duty-free plastic shop bags will be required to leave them at the airport under the new rules. From today, anyone found selling, manufacturing or carrying them could face fines of up to $38,000 or a 4-year prison sentence. A number of other African countries have also outlawed the plastic carrier bags. The countries including Rwanda, Mauritania and Eritrea.